We'll start with the next lesson named Chemical Kinetics. Chemical Kinetics is the branch of chemistry that deals with the study of rate of chemical reaction. That branch is called as kinetics or chemical kinetics. We know that the reactions are running at different speeds. Some are very slow reactions, some are fast reactions, and some are moderate reactions. So we would study the rate of reaction in this particular chapter. To study the rate of reaction, we must know that what is first average rate of reaction. We call average rate of reaction as change in concentration of species upon change in time. When a reaction is going on, there are two species basically, reactant and the product. So we can define average rate of reaction in terms of concentration of either reactant or change in concentration of either product. So first we just write it as what? Delta C upon delta T. That is change in concentration of species. Now we'll particularly see that what is the meaning of species here. Just now I said that species can be either reactant or the product. So here you can consider a reaction where A is giving the product B. I can calculate the rate of reaction in terms of A or in terms of B. Now how to write it? Average rate of consumption of A is equal to minus delta, that is change in concentration of A upon change in time, delta T. Delta indicates change here. We call it as what? Consumption of A. Consumption. A is the reactant and we know that during a reaction the reactant gets consumed. Hence we give the sign as minus. So minus is the quantity of A is becoming less. Hence we put this minus sign. Square bracket indicates concentration. So we write it as minus delta concentration of A by delta T. Similarly, average rate of formation of B. B is the product. So in terms of product, I can write it as average rate is equal to plus delta bracket B upon delta T. Bracket here indicates change in concentration term bracket, and delta indicates change. So average rate of formation of B is plus delta B upon delta T. What difference do you find? When we write the rate in terms of A, rate of reaction in terms of A, the sign is minus. But when we write it in terms of B, the sign is plus, because in the process A is getting consumed and B is getting formed. The unit that we can take for rate of reaction is moles per dm cube per second. It is concentration upon time, change in concentration. Concentration is a unit, moles per dm cube upon time is a unit per second. So second inverse, that becomes the unit of rate of reaction. Next concept that comes is instantaneous rate. Now what is instantaneous rate? Rate of any substance at one particular instance, at one particular time, is called as instantaneous rate at that particular instance. So we can write it as rate of consumption of A at any time t. Just now I said at any instant, that any time t is equal to minus dA by dt, and rate of formation of B at any time t will be equal to plus dB by dt. तर परत if you just compare the upper part and the lower part, upper part मध्ये we were calling average rate मध्ये we were taking delta which was triangle, and in instantaneous rate we are taking delta as a small change d. फक्त तेवढा डिफरन्स आहे. Now we will just talk about relationship between the rates of reactant and product. How can we correlate them? Try to understand. If you have a reaction A plus 3B gives twice C. आता हा एक जनरल रिएक्शन मी लिहिला आहे. I could have written 2 times A plus 4 times B gives me C. कसंही रिएक्शन आपण लिहू शकतो. आहे काय त्याच्यामध्ये? If I want to correlate all the three things म्हणजे कोण? A, B and C. If I want to correlate them, I will be writing that as minus dA by dt. Change in concentration of A. A is reactant म्हणून त्याला साइन येणार मायनस. So minus dA by dt is equal to minus 1 by 3 dB by dt. मायनस साइन आपण का टाकतोय? Because it is again reactant म्हणून मायनस साइन आला मायनस. And remember that जे काय coefficient असेल that becomes 1 by that coefficient. That comes in upon. So you write it as 1 by 3 is equal to, आता प्रोडक्ट काय फॉर्म झालाय? 2 times C. आता 2 कोएफिशियंट आहे म्हणून तो कसा येईल? 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 dC by dt. आता you will find की आपण C साठी मायनस साइन नाही दिला because it is the product formed. Reactant मध्ये whenever you are writing change in concentration of reactant, you will put minus sign and product साठी you will have plus sign. So that we have shown. And जे काय कोएफिशियंट असेल तो खाली जाईल, डिव्हिजन फॉर्म मध्ये जाईल, 1 upon मधून जाईल. For example, if you have this reaction N2 plus thrice H2 gives twice NH3, it can be written as minus d by dt of N2 is equal to minus 1 by 3 d by dt of H2 is equal to 1 by 2 d by dt of NH3. Next point that comes is to study rate law. Consider a reaction AA plus BB gives CC plus DD. The rate of the reaction can be written as A raised to X into B raised to Y, which is equal to rate is proportional to. Now that proportionality sign goes and write it as rate is equal to K into A raised to X into B raised to Y, where X and Y are experimental quantity. The law that is written in terms of reactants, the law that is responsible for the rate of reaction, that is called as rate law. म्हणजे आपण rate law मध्ये काय दाखवतो? In rate law, we are showing the rate of reaction. We show rate as directly proportional to the product of concentration of the reactants. Rate मध्ये product नाही येत. Rate of reaction कोणावरती डिपेंड आहे? Reactants वरती डिपेंड आहे. So rate is proportional to A raised to X. आता हे XY क्वांटिटी काय आहेत? They are experimental quantity. इथे आपण रिएक्शन मध्ये पाहतोय की A आणि B, कॅपिटल A अँड B ला स्मॉल A अँड B त्याचे मोल्स आहेत. But these moles are not playing the important role. Here X and Y, these two terms play an important role because they are experimental quantities. म्हणून रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन मध्ये रिएक्टन्ट्स येतील, पण लॉ लिहिताना, रेट लॉ लिहिताना A raised to what and B raised to what plays the important role because rate law is an experimental quantity. X, Y हे पूर्णपणे टोटल टर्म्स आहेत.